for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the spot!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs!
And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Bittt. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro on this Wednesday, March 8th. Happy International Women's Day. Actually, it would have been fitting if we would have had a woman on with us tonight, but I sent a few text messages, and unfortunately, sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. Marc-André Perreault, anyway, is a collaborator pretty much on Wednesday nights right here on the Sick Podcast. So, of course, he's going to be here tonight. He'll join me in about a minute or two. Just a reminder that the Sick Podcast that we bring you between Monday and Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, which goes give or take for about an hour, is brought to you in part by Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America. They are driven to be different. What I love about Energy Transportation Group is that Michael Cinquino and Sean Gerard, the owners and founders of Energy Transportation Group, not only stand-up guys, not only great people to work for, people that don't forget their roots, people that give back to the community. I can tell you that they are LaSalle boys, and they are supporting, among others, a LaSalle boy in me, and I very much appreciate that. And I got some news that they're actually going to be supporting LaSalle soccer on a very, very long-term basis. So they have in the past. They really support the community, and they support kids in the community. And LaSalle is an area as well where there are a lot of underprivileged kids who cannot afford to play or not afford to buy the equipment or pay for cleats and stuff like that. And so, the sponsorship that they give really, really helps out. So, I'm proud, and we're proud at the Sick Podcast to be associated with people like them. And it's brought to you in part by Tibi. And Tibi, brewed in Quebec, a winner of a dozen international awards. It offers quality microbrewery beers made with premium ingredients for everyone's taste. Tibi, embrace your true nature. And the distributors of Tibi, or actually where it's brewed, is at the Geloso Beverage Group in Laval. And, you can find it in grocery stores. And they, as a matter of fact, the Geloso Beverage Group, while we're talking about everyone's support that we appreciate, they were our first ever sponsors to come on board with the Sick Podcast. And I had met several members of the Geloso Beverage Group years ago. As a matter of fact, I dropped by. I just happened to walk into their loge, or I bumped into them actually in the hallway of the Bell Center, and they invited me into their loge, and I really hit it off with them. And so when the podcast got going, we were able to connect, and right away they were all in. So special thanks to them. They're a great sponsor. So we're very proud to have great sponsors on the Sick Podcast, loyal sponsors. When we started off, we wanted to have a great product, great content, and we wanted to have sponsors that were going to be with us for a very, very long time. And we're lucky because we've had the Geloso Beverage Group for a long time. We plan on having them for a lot longer, and we plan on having Energy Transportation Group for a very, very long time, as well as all the others that join us going forward. Our goal is to establish long-term relationships with them. And so, hello, how's everyone doing? Everyone's doing good. I hope so. And it's an off night for the Montreal Canadiens, but the Montreal Canadiens are back in action tomorrow night. And the Montreal Canadiens have 3 more games here at home as I bring up their calendar before going back on the road. I talked to you about all their games yesterday. The Canadians are going to host Patrick Kane and the New York Rangers tomorrow night, and then they'll be off on Friday. And then on Saturday night, they're going to host the New Jersey Devils. Off on Sunday. On Monday, they're going to host the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. And then the next night, they're going to be in Pittsburgh versus Sid the Kid and the Penguins. Couple nights after that, they'll be in Florida. Couple nights after that, they'll be in Tampa. And then 3 nights after that, they'll be hosting Tampa here in Montreal before they make their way to Boston, who they'll play a couple of nights later. So the Canadian schedule is not getting easy. Mind you, having said all that, I mean, a lot of people thought the Canadians were going to get absolutely destroyed, obliterated, and that Carolina was going to chew them up and spit them out yesterday. George Larac, who's a contributor usually on Thursdays, but joined us yesterday, he thought by 8 p.m. the game would have already been over and Carolina would have been running away. And as it turns out, the Montreal Canadiens picked up a point. So we could take a look at the schedule and talk about how difficult it's going to be. But when teams play without pressure, sometimes they're able to pick up points that you probably wouldn't think they would pick up. Joining me right now, a guy who's picked up so much in his life. It's unbelievable. The women absolutely love him. They think he's extremely sexy, handsome, and attractive. He's Marc-André Perreault.
Is the mic working?
The mic's working. Why?
Is it? This one is working?
What?
Like, it's the new one, so I'm...
Oh, yeah. No, it's working loud and clear. Yeah.
Hey, good. Awesome. Hey, thanks for the kind words. But the way you say La Bittt at Tibi makes me want to so many of them.
I'm going to send you some.
Can you say it again, please?
I'm going to send you some. La Bittt at Tibi.
Yeah, I love it.
yeah. La Bittt at Tibi. Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It is.
Actually, do you want to talk and keep everyone entertained while I go get something?
Sure.
Sometimes I break away and I leave for 30 seconds and I know it drives on Yellow and Sammy crazy. Actually, why don't I bring them up? Let me bring them up. Bring them up. Yeah. And Yellow, Sammy.
How are you?
Yellow, I know how much you love this. This is your chance to be a star. Talk to Marc-André for a minute.
Yeah,
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Marc-André, why can't he be just normal one night?
Hey, you ready for this? Look at these pants. My mother bought them for me. She said, you need to wear a nice pair of comfortable pants at night. I said, oh, yeah? Look.
You asked them to speak with me, and then...
But hold on. But now that I'm going to get up, I have to tell you, look at these pants. You ready?
Go ahead. Is it leather?
What is that, leather? Hey, Mark... Should we cut him off?
What do you think?
The war.
Look, they don't even have an opening in the front.
Can you go higher?
Hold on.
It's like a mix between Obelix and the Humpty Dumpty guy. Oh my God.
We just lost all our girl followers.
They're the most comfortable pants I've ever worn in my life. It's unbelievable. I put these on at night. It's like it fits like a glove. It's incredible.
Not a comfortable sight though.
Yeah. I got to show you something. Hold on. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Are you in Montreal? Are you in Montreal now?
I'm in Gatineau. I'm with my daughter.
That's where you always go down.
I bring her for the game tomorrow. So
amazing. Good for you.
For first time, so it's gonna be fun.
Good for you. Yeah, we just came back from the NFL Combine.
Oh, did you?
Oh my God, it was amazing experience. Yeah.
Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, Indianapolis. Yeah.
Was it jam packed?
No, because it's only media. It's media and a few fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But we just got NFL accredited.
Hey, what about this guy who had like shorts with belt on it, and he like a good butt, and he's running fast. And
see that?
Maybe Richardson, maybe Richardson.
Like he's a real prospect.
Well, he went from, I don't know, from what number was he at? He was ranked about 10, 11, 12. He might go number 1 now.
No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that's what the Combine does. It's crazy when you're actually there. You see how players are reacting. It's crazy. When you see it live, it's crazy.
They delivered these for you, okay? But this is a case. It's got your name written all over it, okay? It's a case of 12. You got 4 of the 5%, 4 of the 5.2%, and 4 of the 6%.
That's very nice.
Right? Yeah. So here it is. Look at that. It's got your name written all over it. So we got to get it to you. Yeah, you know what? Will you be at TVA Sport tomorrow by chance, or?
I can stop by.
Well, you don't. I mean, you don't have to stop by, but we can meet somewhere else if you want. But if not, I'll bring it to you there, or I'll bring it to you wherever you want.
I'll text you. We'll find a way because I'm thirsty. Jeez.
Yeah, or you make your way to beautiful Villa Sal. This is the place to be.
Okay.
Right?
Just make sure you don't wear those pants. That's
you
all.
know what? I'll leave it here the whole time. Why not? Who cares? It's all good. Yeah, good. All right. Okay.
Good show, guys.
Hey, I'll talk to you. So I hope so. Good show. We have to try and find stuff to talk about. No, all kidding aside, we have plenty. Hey, listen, we're gonna get to the Canadians in. Why don't we start? Because I saw the story of the Nordiques today, and so maybe we'll go to the story of the Nordiques a little bit later. We'll start with the Canadians, but Jonathan Drouin has put up a lot of points. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, very, very nice. Jonathan Drouin has put up a lot of points in the last 13 or 14 games. I don't know if you have but he's almost averaging like a point per game.
Games.
Pardon me, you were saying?
14 points in his last 16 games.
14 points in his last 16 games, okay? And I mentioned yesterday to George Larac, I said, George, if I would have said this 3 or 4 months ago, I wouldn't have said it 3 or 4 months ago. Like 3 or 4 months ago, we all would have said, no chance he's not coming back, no chance he's not coming back. There's starting to be talk now of more and more people saying, hey, you know what? Jonathan seems to have figured out Marty St. Louis concepts. Jonathan is healthy for the first time in a while. He wasn't last year. Jonathan's actually starting to play better at center. He's showing that, he's got some versatility. And, Jonathan's starting to feel good about himself and stuff like that. And he made a great play yesterday on Mike Hoffman's goal. I mean, a lot of people thought that the puck was poke-checked away. I watched it in slow motion. I don't know how many times. And if it was extremely close. But if he didn't pass the puck, it looked like the intention to drop it back was there.
He cut to the net, which is exactly what was not what was missing, but what he was not doing often enough. I really don't know if I wish him to be back next year, because this guy, he took so many punches. Listen, yesterday I tweeted that some people are saying he's done, he doesn't belong in the NHL, and I'm like, hey guys, it's 14 points in 16 games. So Joe is like, hold my beer, guys. And it's crazy the number of people who are just shitting on him. It's so not deserved. And I hate it. I hate the fact that, when he left because of mental health issues or whatever they call it. And I don't want to, I just don't want to use the bad wording, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. And all the people are so comprehensive. So, just get well, we're with you, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, when he's back and he's not having good games, people are going nuts again and they're mean. So I don't know. I wish him to find first a contract, which is because if you would ask me like a month ago, I would have said, yeah, maybe a PTO. Now I start to think that he's going to get a contract. And I think I wish that it's not here, not for the Canadians, but for him. I think it would be better for him. But he's playing great.
There's a lot of things that, when you talked about the hate and stuff like that is, how can I put this? Okay, I might as well just the fact that they gave up Sergachev for him, who's gone on to be a great defenseman in the league, I mean, that brings out a lot of anger in people. The fact that they gave him $33 million before he even played his first game with the Canadians or before he even had a practice at what was it, a 6-year deal for $33 million, so at $5.5 million per year. That brings out a lot of anger in people. In those 6 years, how many great years did he have in Montreal? Like, if you total all the games up, did he have one great year out of 6? So when people bring up the talk of the possibility of even having a 1-year contract next year. All of that adds up, right? It's a buildup for people, right? They think about the fact the Canadiens gave up Sergachev. They think about the fact that this guy got a 6-year, $33 million contract before his first practice with the Canadiens, that they tried him out at center and hadn't worked. They tried him out on the wing. They hadn't worked. They tried him out with a bunch of players that hadn't worked. And so there's a lot of anger there from a lot of fans. There's a lot of anger.
It's all about expectations, and they were high. They were obviously too high, but he is not a mean person. I mean, the guy is trying. Lots of injuries. He was dealing with mental health issues. Couldn't sleep, and injuries. It's a big part. But I mean, he can play hockey. That's for sure. So maybe he's the type of guy who you should go 1 year at a time. 1 year at a time. But he can still play in the NHL. So stop with he doesn't belong in this league. He does. Yeah. I mean,
he won't get a 2-year deal though, right? We agree. Like not from the Canadiens, not from anybody else. Don't you think he'll, like you just said, 1 year at a time? If he'll get a 1-year deal, I think.
He will.
He won't get a 2-year offer. I don't think. I'd be very surprised.
I don't think Montreal will offer him a contract. I would be surprised, but hey, the guy, 14 points in 16 games. It's not bad. I mean, it is not bad. He's your number 2 centerman right now. It's not supposed to be. I get it, but
yeah. Well, I think he's number 3 on the Montreal Canadiens for assists this season, and he's played a lot less games. Let me bring that up. So in 41 games, and here we go. In 41 games, he has 22 points. And unfortunately, the fact that he only scored a goal, I mean, that hurts him too. So if we go to the assists, 28 assists for Suzuki, 23 assists for Doc, 21 assists for Drouin. Drouin has 2 less assists than Doc in 13 less games. And he's got 7 less assists than Suzuki in 23 less games. And you know what? Getting back to some of the things that bother people, Mapper, is that the guy is so talented that even when everyone thinks that he's doing terribly, you then take a look at the stats and you say, he's got 2 less assists than Doc in 13 less games.
And everybody's about Doc like he's like the next.
Yeah, he's got 7 less assists than Suzuki in 23 games, who plays on the number 1 line and played with Cole Caulfield and played for Doc for a while, is on all the power plays and plays 23 minutes a game. It's unbelievable when you think about it.
Doesn't belong in the NHL.
No, he belongs. It's just that
I mean, obviously, I'm sarcastic.
Yeah, no, of course, I know you are, but I agree with. He does belong, but the fact that he has so much talent and he doesn't play to his potential, he hasn't been able to put it together on a consistent basis. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years into the league. He's not young anymore, right? Like we've all said, next year is going to be Drouin's year. The next year comes, well, the year after is going to be Drouin's year, and the year after, and so people they're a little bit tired now,
Yeah, but you put him in the market like I don't know, Arizona, or I don't know. Just I think he could do very well, and I think people are gonna they could miss him. Yeah, we'll see. But
we said the same thing about Galchenyuk, though, right? But he went to Pittsburgh and it didn't work out there, and he went to Minnesota and it didn't work out, and he went to Arizona and it didn't work out, and
it's not the same in the same ballpark. But
they're both 3rd picks overall.
Oh yeah, but the Galchenyuk draft was so weak. I mean, it was Yakupov number 1.
No, you're right.
So
you're right.
It was the worst timing to get the 3rd overall, right?
Yeah.
So and it was, when they drafted KK, it could have been a great draft if they drafted Ketchup, but it's done.
Galchenyuk was a great scorer too. It's too bad. Like the way things played itself out for his career. It's just such a shame. So much talent there too. A lot of talent.
Guy, he was so loved in this locker room, and he was. I remember one time, like everybody was, so hard on him, like the fans and the medias, because he was, it's all about expectation. And the scrum is over, and I'm like, hey Alex, how are you? What? How are you? I mean, how's life? And it's like it's like as if I put a light on his face. He was smiling, and it seemed like he was happy that someone was actually asking how he goes.
Yeah.
I just think this guy, he did not. How do you say that? Il n'a pas évolué dans un environnement sain.
Yeah. I don't even know if I should share this story or not. Like, I don't know. So I interviewed him once at the Canadians golf tournament, and he sat down. And before we actually went on air with the interview on the radio, there was some things that happened, and he said, should I share that, or if I would share that, is that low? I mean, I don't want to.
I mean, if it was off the record, you don't share it. If it was
no, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't off the record, but it was just. So let me just put it this way, okay? Let me just put it this way so you can understand, okay? So, Galchenyuk was in the media because I think the day before, it was those practices brought to you by a sponsor, whether it was, whoever it was at the time, but those practices that they have for the fans, right? On a Sunday where they usually end up packing 15,000 people in the arena. Okay. And I think Galchenyuk was either not there, or he was supposed to talk at the end, or no, I don't know. It wasn't a practice, pardon me. I think it was somewhere where he was supposed to be.
Okay.
It was somewhere where he was supposed to be. It was some kind of signing or something. Okay. Yep. And he wasn't there, or if he was there, he didn't talk. Okay. And so he was, he was in the news, and they were talking about it, and I can't remember what it was, but it was either he didn't show up to a place he was supposed to show up to, or he did, but he didn't end up talking to anybody, and he left. Okay. And so when the media relations bring him over to the table where I was set up so that he can talk, they said to me, "Hey, Tony, just want to let you know that there's a valid reason why Alex wasn't available yesterday, or he wasn't able to talk," right? And they didn't have to say more. Like, I understood that, if I would have asked him the question of why weren't you there yesterday, and why weren't you able to talk, that is something that they wanted, they would have appreciated, and they wanted to clear up, right? Because they said there was a valid reason. And just without getting into details, so by the time they said that, we probably went on air about a minute and a half later, okay? For the minute, or that minute and a half, he repeated every single word that the media relations told me, and the way they said it, he was like, it bothered him that he had to justify why he wasn't there, or why he didn't speak. And it bothered him that the media relations wanted him to say the story of why he wasn't there, or why he didn't speak. And I remember the whole story, but it was something about, he had gone to the dentist and stuff like that. He had a huge root canal, and he had some teeth taken out or whatever. And his mouth was like very, very numb, and he was bleeding and all that stuff. But it was a little thing, but it bothered him. And it was at that moment that I knew he couldn't play in Montreal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like in Montreal, like you got to talk to the media, and there's more things. Like, had this happened in another city, maybe nobody would have cared. You know what I mean? But in Montreal, you have to justify why you either didn't show up, or why you didn't talk. And the fact that he had to explain why, and he had to justify it, and the media just wanted to give me a reminder of bringing it up. It bothered him so much.
Yeah.
He almost felt suffocated, but there was nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like Carey when he started his career here.
Yeah.
The famous Orbit quote, or I don't know what's it in English.
Yeah.
For some people, they just cannot deal with it, and I don't think Galchenyuk had the personality to do it. But if you embrace it, if you do the right thing, it means money.
Oh yeah.
Means big money. Look, I mean, Cole Caulfield, he would, I mean, the way things are going,
Yeah.
he is acting, it's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with Arbor Jacki. Same thing with, all these personalities. So it's just not meant for everyone. Galchenyuk, I mean, well, obviously there was more than that because it didn't work out anywhere else. But some players, I don't think they get it that if you embrace it, it's a lot of money.
But here's the deal. You could tell them all you want, but everyone has their own character. And you're not going to change people either. You know what I mean? Like Carey has his own character. You're not going to change him. He's an introvert. He's very to himself. He doesn't hang with a lot of teammates. You know what I mean? PK completely different, right? Outgoing personality.
Yeah.
Just he can talk up a storm and stuff like that. I mean, I got two boys at home, and when I talk about different personalities, like one is like that, like one is like introvert to himself. You can't get a word out of him. The other one is extremely. Take a look at Ronaldo and Messi, right? They're two complete different. In their case, they're both able to make a lot of money because they're both great players. But like I could, you can tell two people with two different characters all you want. You know what? If you change and if you do this, it'll lead to more sponsorship, or it'll lead to more money. You can't. They probably won't change anyway. You know what I mean? If you told Carey Price, you got to talk more, you got to be more going, you got to have more of a personality. It's not him.
But the point was more not imposing, but some just realize it, embrace it, and it's. I mean, look at the Belzile, Hervé Pinard. They're having good press right now because they're playing. Yeah. They embrace Montreal. They have personality. They speak with the media. They're respectful. So it's all about doing the right things. Just being normal, not being scared of saying the wrong thing or whatever. So, anyways, Galchenyuk I don't know. It was sometimes sad to just watch him. So
yeah,
I just hope he's.
I hear you. The price comment that you talked about, that was when he was saying that at one point he couldn't even go to the grocery store no more. Like, just too many people know him, recognize him, want to know what's up, maybe have an autograph, take a picture and stuff like that. And he just,
you know what it is.
He just wanted to stay home.
Yeah.
It's sad, when we heard Carey talk like that. Yeah. It's sad. I've been thinking about Carey over the last little while here because he's out of the spotlight now. He's out of that limelight. We know that his career is it's unofficially over. I mean, let's be honest here. Even his wife admitted to the fact that they're going to be leaving Montreal. They're going to move to Kelowna and stuff like that. I mean, it's over. Like you won't see him at the rink. And as a matter of fact, he's on vacation probably as we speak, right? But I've been thinking about Carey, like the goalie of the Montreal Canadiens, following in the footsteps of Plante and Dryden and Roy and so many others. There's no team in the league, there's no franchise that has had as many star goalies as the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, even guys that weren't stars ended up having star years. I mean, Steve Penny at one point was like the biggest star in the city in like 1984, and Cristobal Huet at one point was like one of the biggest stars, like probably, like he was standing on top of his head. And Jose Theodore had a Hart Trophy season. Carey Price playing for the Montreal Canadiens, a lot of people look at him as, you know what, he was going to be the next Patrick Roy. He had won a Calder Cup in Hamilton.
He was.
A lot of people were thinking, you know what, he's going to bring a cup to Montreal. All that pressure, played on a lot of mediocre teams, played on a lot of teams that couldn't score. Can you imagine how tough it must have been? 15 years. 15.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not. In English, you say I'm not gonna feel sorry for him. I mean, and he doesn't want that. I'm sure he is not looking this way like the past. It's Chris Kreider. Like it hurt a lot. That collision. I mean, I just think this is where everything started to go down. He had some good years, obviously, but I really think they would have won the Stanley Cup this year. He was so good, and it was a special team. And then you get hurt, and then when you get your knee hurt as bad as that, when you're a goalie, after that, I mean, it's never gonna be the same, right?
Yeah, that's the year he won the 4 individual awards, right?
Yeah, he was so good, so good. So,
could you imagine after that surgery? Sometimes you ask yourself what could have been, right? Probably nobody would have had the courage to trade Carey Price after a season in which you win 4 individual awards, right? But could you imagine if they would have, what his value would have been at that point? And that's before the big contract, eh?
Can't win a trade like that. You just can't. I mean, I'm a big fan of who's the best player in the deal. That's it. So Carey would have been the best player in the deal. So there's no way you could have won this. But I mean,
I hear you, but the Canadiens went on to give him an 8-year, $84 million contract with a cap hit of $10.5 million. And I can argue and say to you that you're never going to win when your goalie's the highest paid player on your team and he's making $10.5 million US on the cap. I mean, that's
a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of it breaks your
well, that money should have been invested in centermen, right? Number one centermen were making, Crosby and Malkin were making 8.7 and he's getting 10.5. Chicago had signed Kane and Taves at 10.5.
Yeah, that's a lot, but they won. Yeah, I mean, was it in 2000? There was a year, like it was Michael Layton, Yaroslav Alak, and Tibi. Yeah. There's one missing. And I think like the highest draft was like 7th round or something like that. So I mean, sometimes you just have weird years and the goalies are just like normal players on the team and they just, start to win everything. Alak, it was in 2000.
Well, that was 2010, right? Because in 2010, Halak beat the Washington Capitals in round 1. He beat the Penguins in round 2, and he ended up losing to Michael Layton and the Philadelphia Flyers in the semis. Correct?
Yemi, and there's one missing. Nabokov, was it Nabokov?
I don't remember. I mean, I'm gonna Google it. Okay, I'm gonna Google it right now. 2012. NHL playoffs. We'll bring it up right here. We'll bring it up. It was
that's it. So it was Nabokov and Antiniemi. Okay.
Yeah, it was Nabokov. Correct. Yeah.
And I think
Chicago swept them 4-0.
Exactly. Yeah.
Chicago
ended. So, anyways, all that to say that. Yeah, it was too much money, too much of a big percentage on your on your cap hits of the structure.
Did you think that Price's playoffs 2 years ago?
Pardon me?
Did you think Price's playoffs 2 years ago were better than Halleck's in 2010?
Better than
Halleck's.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, he made it to the final. But Halak was unbelievable versus Washington and Pittsburgh. Unbelievable.
But Price it was insane. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to compare. I said yes right off the bat, but it's you're asking me to choose between two of my kids. So
no, I understand that. Yaroslav Halak versus the Washington Capitals is 53 saves in Game 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though I think Patrick had stopped over 60 once versus the Boston Bruins, Halak's 53 games in Game 6, considering the fact it was the playoffs, considering the fact it was the Washington Capitals, considering the fact that they were, basically avoiding elimination that game, trying to avoid elimination. That's the best goaltending performance in a lot, like I can remember from a Canadiens goalie in a long, like if off the top of my head, I don't remember the last time that there was one that was better than that. If I take a look at all the circumstances, once again, the fact it was the playoffs. Remember the Washington Capitals that year? They broke scoring records. They had scored big time goals. They had guys that were putting up a lot of goals, and they had, I don't know how many more players that scored more goals than Canadiens players like that. They had scored, I think 109 goals or whatever it was, or 101. They had scored over 100 goals as a team more than the Canadiens. Like the stats weren't even close.
Yeah.
That's the best goaltending performance from a Canadiens goalie in a long, long time.
It's just for the record, it's Leighton 6th round, Alak Nabokov 9th round.
Yeah,
was not drafted. Okay.
Wow.
So it gives you an idea. Yaroslav Alak, his stats, career stats, 915. His percentage.
It's excellent.
I mean, it's 950. Let's take a look at Price for fun. 905. No, sorry, that was just 1 year. Price is 917. So 917 against 950. Pretty much, I mean,
yeah.
Goalie. That's not what I'm saying. So
they had Halak had a great career. It's just that you always looked at him and you wondered how many games per season he could play. You know what I mean? Like you knew that he can give you great performances, but you worried that if he played over 52, he might not have anything left in the tank. Price,
he played for good.
You got the feeling that he could play 65, until he started to get hurt, obviously.
Yeah. So,
tough
to compare, but yeah, I mean, you're right. 2010 was a hell of a playoff by a goal.
Yeah. 2014 was supposed to be the year, but you talked about it. I mean, Chris Kreider goes into Carey Price. Hey, Jesperi Kotkaniemi getting booed yesterday. Like
all good.
Did he leave a sour are you would you I mean, you're a member of the media, you wouldn't boo him, but I mean, I don't know, like this guy can't hurt a fly. I don't understand why people now are hearing that. A lot of people are saying that he made it, his agent let it known to the Canadiens that he was never going to sign with them, or even if they were going to match the offer, the hostile offer, that he was not going to want to sign a long-term deal with them, and he was going to want out at one point. But I was surprised that what are you booing Jesperi Kotkaniemi for? I mean, the guy can't hurt a fly. You know what I mean?
It was a lack of respect, or it was like mean booing. It was just like booing guy on the other team who used to play like people do every time on every team everywhere in the leagues. I mean, I didn't hear any insult or whatever. It was just having fun. Like I mean, there's no story there. It's not a big deal. It was not mean booing. I don't know if you
yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, now
they was drafted too early. They should have taken Tkachuk. He was not maybe not the best listener.
Yeah.
He thought he had it when he arrived, and then it just didn't work out. And he had a an offer sheet, and yeah, it's all good.
Okay, we'll get to expansion in a second, but our buddy Guillaume Latendresse says great opportunity for the Canadians to trade Josh Anderson at the draft. An Anderson who's been playing better hockey in the last month. He really has.
I slowed down a little bit in the last few games, and this is exactly Anderson's problem since he got to Montreal. Got all the tools. He's force. He's good. He's fast. He's strong. He has a good shot, but he's not. And I just don't want to say it like in the mean but he's not like the most. I just have intelligent player coming to my mind, but it's not an insult.
He doesn't have the highest IQ in terms of hockey IQ.
Yeah, but I mean, believe me, I really think he's a very good hockey player, but it's more
north-south. He's a power player.
Exactly.
He's a power player.
This is the major problem. You never know. When he was playing with Suzuki and Hervé Pinard, things were going well. You could see him every game. But the problem, and it was exactly what happened last night, at one you get a penalty, and I'm like, oh, Josh is playing tonight. And that's not a good sign. And it's not something that I have said for the last weeks.
Yeah.
So there's two Josh Anderson. I get it. You can't play 82 games like it's the last one of your life, but you need to find like a minimum of consistency. And I think that's what Josh is trying to figure out. That being said, yes, I mean, I respect that opinion. It could be a good idea, but you need a Josh Anderson somewhere, not the one who's not consistent, but you need that type of player.
All right, on to expansion, but before we do, my opportunity to talk about Playground. Major poker festivals are back at Playground. The March Million features 10 ring events and $1 million in guaranteed prize pools, including a $400,000 guaranteed main event play in Playground's March Million Poker Series from March 23rd to April 2nd. Visit playground.ca for details. All right, there's talk of expansion. The National Hockey League is at 32 teams. I don't know where this talk started, but it got so intense that Bill Daly, the right-hand man for Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, had to come out and actually give some comments and address it. There was talk that the National Hockey League that has 32 teams is looking at going at 34, and the next round of expansion is going to see Houston and Atlanta awarded teams. And the next round of expansion after that, which will eventually see it go from 34 to 36, just might include Quebec. Now, Bill Daly had to come out to say, hey, there's expansion is not imminent. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, there's been some people poking around and saying that they're interested, but right now, we're at 32. Your thoughts, whether expansion is around the corner, if you want to see it, and how does it make you feel that if there is going to be, that Quebec probably, based on this news, will not be in the next round of expansion?
I do not want to believe that. I just can't believe that they will do another expansion and don't take Quebec City. I just can't believe the league will do that. Canadian teams are carrying the league, right?
I would think so.
Pardon me?
I would think so. I would say you're right, yes.
Money-wise, okay?
Yeah. Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah, and you have a city, and it's all about who was it that Koliakovo, the former defenseman.
Carlo Koliakovo, good friend of mine.
Exactly, probably. He said he had like a few pinpoints, but he said that one is you need rivalries. You need rivalries. At one point, you have to think about the fan, not about your pocket. You want to give the fan what he wants. So rivalry helps so much to, who's going to watch a Arizona LA game? Who? Even in Arizona, no one. Like, no one.
No.
So,
mind you, Houston would have a rivalry, you would think, with Dallas.
Yes, but
well, they could create one, but to your point, Montreal versus Quebec, the best rivalry in the history of hockey.
Of course, Quebec against Boston, against Toronto, against Ottawa, it's all natural rivalries, okay?
Yeah.
But when the league will say, okay, we're gonna give the fan the sport what it's best for him, not what's best for the owners. I'm gonna lose it if it happens. It would happen.
Well, you're probably going to lose it on me if I would keep you longer, but 45 minutes already was extremely generous of you. So, on that note, I say merci beaucoup. Give me a call tomorrow because this case of 12 has your name written all over it.
Okay, thanks, my friend.
Look, I could even write your name if you want. Hold on a second here.
And you
want me to write it or?
Studied in Quebec City, by the way. So
is that right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I just love this city. I know it's here. I'm gonna have a hard time sleeping now, thinking about my Quebec City.
This one doesn't even write. Hold on a second. There we go.
Oh yeah.
There we go. It's got your name written all over it. I told you here. Okay, here we go. There we go.
Can you sign it, please?
Marc-André Perreault. You want me to sign it? Hold on a second. Sure. Let's go.
And you don't mind, ask your mom to buy me a pair of those pants and put it in the box.
There you go. See that? Tony Marinaro. First, it's Mapper on top. Marc-André Perreault. M-A-P. And then look at that, huh? That's like a Jean Beliveau autograph. You can really make out the name, right?
I love it.
Tony Marinaro. Now, it's funny. I sign my name like that, but it's not like I sign my checks like that. My checks, I just scribble, But hey, what are you going to do now?
Sleep, because tomorrow morning we're leaving soon. My daughter's coming with me at the game. It's going to be her first time. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's excited. Break, so practice tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's nice. How old's your daughter again?
She's 11.
Oh, that's nice. That's
nice. Like hotel room and everything, so it's the real experience.
Oh, that's amazing. Hey, enjoy that age because believe me when I tell you, it goes very, very fast, my friend.
That's why I'm very lucky.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. Okay, my man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me.
All right. I love this guy. Marc-André Perreault of TVA Spa. This guy's a real beauty, let me tell you. A shout out to matrixhomefitness.ca. Also, beauties, just like Marc-André Perreault. Bring it home. Discover a club quality workout in the comfort of your own home. Visit matrixhomefitness.ca, whether it's Agnello's elliptical or my rower or the treadmill, the bike, Thermat. They have just so much equipment, but it's quality. You understand? It's not just fitness equipment. It's quality fitness equipment. You'll absolutely love it. Hey, Agnello and Sammy back at Master Control. Come back. I want to talk to you guys. They hate it when I do this, by the way. At one point, I used to do it often at the beginning. And you should see Agnello. Like Agnello gave me a call.
Why do you do it?
It's the first, like that was, and we never argued ever. Have we ever argued since we've been together in 2.5 years?
No.
You know what? When he says something and he's right, or he's convinced me, you're right. I tell him, you know what? I thought about it. You're right. And then every now and then he says to me and something else, yeah, you know what, Tony, I think you're right. We always end up agreeing. There was only one time, it was early on, he told me, don't put me on. And I didn't put him on for a while, and now he's back.
Hello.
Look at him. What a beauty.
I want to ask you where you bought those pants.
My mother bought them for me.
You hear Mapper said he wanted a pair?
Agnello, you've never had a pair of pants like this on you before.
Well,
with my height,
if I put that pants on?
Yeah.
Probably go right to my forehead. So I'll be
No, but listen, don't get me. These are not pants that you can go to the corner store, or to the bank, or to the gas station with. These are simply when you come home and you know that you're not going to be leaving your house, you put on these pants. Like, I should have never even brought them on camera to show them. But for those who missed it, once again, look at
God.
that. And yellow. You've never seen anything like it. Look.
Let me see how high they go.
Eh?
Let me see how high they go.
How high they go?
Yeah. Fresh velvet pants. Yeah. We got to print the sick logo on that.
Like, it looks like a dress.
Yeah. Oni Tony. I don't know. Guaranteed tomorrow you're getting a 1 rating star on this Spotify.
You think I need to lose weight?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Tomorrow you're getting a 1 rating star on Spotify. Then you're gonna get mad.
You know what? I don't deserve to get a 1-star rating. I mean, I think I deserve a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Hey, we're consistent. We're there Monday to Friday. They play, we're there. They don't play, we're there. They're off for like 10 days during the All-Star week, whatever. We're there. We're there all the time. The collaborators are there. You know, we take calls, we take questions, we take comments, this, that. We deserve a 5-star rating. So if you're going to be watching on Google, Apple, or Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating. We really appreciate it. It's our way of feeling the love. Thank you very much. If you like what you're watching, but didn't like what you're watching in terms of these pants, Angela, by the way, Vitherson says Tony looks like a no. He's probably right about that. Alfred says Tony is prego. Wow, that really hurts. Thanks, Alfred. I think you just ruined my life with that comment. Like, I mean, I know that, you know, like, I'm heavy, but that hurts. Tony Le Velouté says, yeah, they're velvet. You should. They're blue velvet pants. They're soft. They're unbelievable. They're unbelievable. So anyway, leave us a message, sick, S-I-C-K, if you're enjoying the podcast. Share it with your friends, like it, and you're watching right now on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. And if you're not on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free. And, you know, we remember when we were like, you know, 50 people, 100 people, 100 subscribers. And now we're 11,300. And I'd still like to see this grow a lot more than that. But they say Rome wasn't built in a day. Tony is going to burn out. I'm going to burn out? Why am I going to burn out? No. If Tony would have stayed doing a 3-hour show 5 days a week, and I used to do a 3-hour show 5 days a week, and then I used to do 2 to 3 post-game shows a week, and I used to work Saturday nights as well, and I did that for like the first 10 years. I used to work Saturdays, but up until 5 or 6 years ago, I would work post-games as well and get home at around 12:30 or 12:40 a.m., and then I'd be back the next day at around 8:30 to go on air at around 10 a.m. There, I could have burnt out. But now I wake up in the morning at 7:55, at 8:05, or sometimes I wake up at 7:45. Sometimes I wake up at 7:30. But at 8:05, I go on live on BPM Sports Radio from the comfort of my own home. All I got to do is just hook up to a Zoom link, and I go on for about 17 minutes or so. I don't have to drive. I don't have to go out. I don't have to be in traffic. I don't have to park. I don't have to spend money in gas. I don't have to get out of my house. I don't have to put on my winter jacket or my winter boots. I don't have to catch all the cold that's out there. I don't have to go look for parking. I just log on to a Zoom link and I go on. Then when I'm done, if I want, I can actually go back to bed. And I can stay in bed pretty much as long as I want, because the next time I have to go out is when I got to go do television, which I leave my house at 4:30. I'll get there for about 5 p.m. max. I'll do makeup until about 5:05. I'll go on air at 5:30. I'll finish at 5:45. At around 6:10, I'm back home. I relax. And then I bring you this podcast, 1 hour, Monday to Thursday, with my TV right in front of me, my fridge about 5 feet to my right, my bathroom about 7 or 8 feet to my right, here in the comfort of my own home, wearing these blue velvet pants. Don't worry about me. I'm not going to burn out. And the best part is that I could do it all from a distance. I don't have to be here in my basement. I can be in Florida. I can have a screen, a green screen, that'll basically be a replica of what my background is here if I wanted to. I can have that done. And I can do my radio hit via Zoom link from anywhere in the world. I can do my TV hit from anywhere in the world via FaceTime. And I can do this podcast from anywhere in the world instead of absolutely having to be in a studio in person doing it. So don't feel bad about me. I'm going to be totally honest and transparent with all of you the way I always have been. I'm living the life right now, folks.
Tony, you haven't told him the best thing.
Tell me.
You never take off your velvet pants all day.
I can keep I take them off when I go to television. and you know what? I work with Sammy and Agnello. They make me do whatever I want. It's a beautiful thing.
Somebody just commented, you, your pants, George's pillow. We're starting to get issues.
That's great. Guess what? I just talked about the life. I just spit water all over the laptop. I think it's done. All over the mixer board. I think it's done. All over the equipment. I think it's done. Some even went in the camera, I think. I think some even went in the camera. Yeah. What else? Anything else we should add to this? And they're feeling sorry for me. Yeah. No, don't feel sorry for me. It's all good. I'm living the life.
Who's better?
You want to talk now because I have to sneeze.
Who's better than you?
Some water went through my nose and everything, this and that. Nobody. Yeah. So anyway, look, since we're on this conversation, I mean, I get asked every day if I ever want to return to radio. Folks, I love radio. Like, radio is my first love. Like, that'll never change. I gave it a 20-year run. Thought it was a real good run. I'll never say never. Like, I'll never say never. But it's like definitely not in the plans. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that I've turned down a lot of radio opportunities. A lot. Radio's still there. It's alive and well. There's no doubt about it. But podcasts, you take a look at where the world is going. Streaming on demand, it's becoming more and more prominent, more and more popular, and I think we're just scratching the surface. And the way I look at it, I honestly have like the best of all the worlds right now. Right? I do a radio hit, I do a TV hit, I do the podcast. You know, I think I really have the best of everything right now. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Anything you want to add, Agnello, or what?
All good, man. Thank you, everybody, for all your support. Very happy.
At what point do you give out shares in the company or anything, or dividends or whatever? Or
we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. No, but we have to sit down, or what? Am I going to get shares or what? The dividend?
Whatever you want.
50-50, you said, right?
Yeah, whatever you want. No, I'm not going to say that because you always say that you're going to use it against me. So.
Sammy, 50-50.
He said he takes the fifth.
What did he say? He doesn't know. Is that what he said?
Yeah, because now he knows what you're going to answer, right?
This guy's the best. I love you, Sammy. Don't ever change, bud. All right, there you have it. Why don't you? Can you throw in? You want to throw in a couple of questions?
Yeah, we'll do a few questions.
Hey, you know what? Ask me whatever you want to ask me. Ask me whatever you want to ask me. What's the worst that can happen, folks? Is that I'm going to tell you I'd rather not answer that question. But chances are I'm going to answer it. Ask me whatever you want to ask me. Go ahead. Put it on YouTube Live, and in Yellow and Sammy, they're going to bring it up. And I'm in one of these moods. It's 11 o'clock. I could say goodbye if I wanted to. I love you a lot. Ask me whatever you want to ask. Oh, and by the way, my buddy Chris Nyland with the Raw Knuckles podcast, I'll be on his podcast tomorrow. So he came on the Sick podcast, I would say probably give or take about 3 months ago, I think. And so you know what? It's my turn to go on the Raw Knuckles podcast. So I'm gonna be on with him and Tim Stapleton tomorrow. So I'm sure they're gonna upload that on various social media applications and channels, and you'll be able to watch it. So ask me whatever you want to ask me. Agnello, you want to bring some up, or there's got to be something up until now here? What is the best Italian restaurant in Montreal? Wow. That's a great question. That's a great question. The best Italian restaurant in Montreal. And the reason why it's a great question is because there's so many of them. But I can tell you that I really that's a great question. Man, I just said that I would answer any of your questions, and now you're asking me the best Italian restaurant in Montreal. Oh, wow. That's I don't want to offend anybody here either by just, by not mentioning everyone. Great best Italian restaurant in Montreal. So what I love about Prima Luna restaurant is that it's Italian cuisine, there's Szechuan, and there's sushi. So it's kind of like, it's a can't miss, right? Because you can have whatever you want. And they also have a unlimited sushi night on Wednesday night. So I really, really like that. There's a couple of them in the Old Port that the core is nice. What a really good question. Agnello and Sammy, can you bail me out on this one? Let's see if he's going to come back. Let's see if he's going to bail me out. Honestly, is that a great question or what?
It's a great question, but it's too hard to answer. There's too many good restaurants in Montreal. Very hard.
But he did specify Italian cuisine, right? So
Italian, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So we were at the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
We were in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But we ended up going to this restaurant called St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
Which is probably the top steakhouse in Indy.
Yeah.
Because all the coaches were there. Everybody was there from the NFL staff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even come close to the steakhouse we have here. Not even close.
No, you're right about that.
It's very good here in Montreal.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's several of them on Sherbrooke Street in downtown Montreal. There's several of them in the Old Port. There's several of them in Griffintown, right? When we're talking about some of the best restaurants in Montreal, there's
so
a Thai restaurant. There's man, I would have loved to have given you several names, but this one really is tough. Okay. Can you throw out the questions with you being on the screen, or you have to, you can't be? Yeah. But yeah, you know what? Here's
a good one.
Let's say you're a GM of the Canadians. I was thinking that the questions were going to be non-hockey related, by the way. You have the 2023 7th pick. Do you pick Quentin Musty? No, I do not. That's from Martin Du. There's got to be others that are like non-hockey related, right? But that restaurant one, that was that tonight I won't be able to sleep because I'm going to think about that question all night. Would you consider a simulcast on Sirius XM radio? Mario Perezzino. By the way, Mario is gohabs.com. He's got a great website.
He does a great job.
Yeah, he does a great job. I think I can say this on behalf of Agnello and Sammy. We would consider anything that would be great for our brand. we have a certain standard. We think we're getting better every day. We know where we are and we know where we want to be, and we want to associate with excellence. And there's no doubt that Sirius Satellite Radio, in my opinion, is excellent. So it would definitely be a possibility. I will tell you this. And this is probably going to, maybe disappoint some people, but because we're transparent here, and Agnello can attest to this, we had several calls and several meetings. There was a possibility we could have basically had the podcast on radio, and we held off. Right? We didn't go for it.
Yes, we turned it down.
Eh?
We turned it down.
Yeah, we turned it down. So
Sirius XM's a possibility. We're in talks. We'll see what happens in the future.
Oh, we're in talks.
Yeah, we're in talks. We'll see what happens in the future.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know that.
Surprise, surprise.
Is there anything else you want to tell me, or
no? Not at all.
By the way, we've been doing this for what, about 2.5 years, but we've gone full time probably since the month of September, right?
Yep.
At what point? I mean, how many shows do I got to do before I get a Rolex?
I don't know what.
I have friends that work in companies, like after 5 years or 10 years that they work in a company, they get a Rolex. Like, what am I looking at here?
So once we get to 100,000 subscribers,
it's
a possibility. Then you get yourself a nice Rolex.
100,000 subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna cut this clip. Okay.
And we're gonna play it then.
Eh?
And we're gonna play it then.
And no, we're gonna cut this clip. We're gonna put it all over social media tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna ask the entire world to share.
So you can get a Rolex.
To try and get us to 100,000 subscribers, because I'm gonna get a Rolex.
Yep. I like that.
And
Cheers, Tony. Forget the watch. You see what Eric said?
Which one? What?
Eric said, ask for shares, Tony. Forget the watch.
No, what share? We're 50-50 already. It's already been, we already have that in a previous podcast where it was agreed that we're 50-50 and 50-50. The company's going to sell for 100 million, 50 for you and 50 for me. That's it. That was it.
Put the Ryan Baker one there.
You go ahead. Bring up a couple.
There you go.
What's my favorite movie? Wow. That's another great question. I'm a fan of the Rocky movies. As corny and as cheesy as that sounds, I really like the Rocky movies. But I would say that I'm more of a fan of actors and actresses than I am of certain movies in particular. So I love De Niro. I think he's great. I love Pacino. I think he's great. I like Denzel Washington. I think he's great. I even like Liam Neeson, even though all the Takens are kind of like. So, I mean, Nicolas Cage at one point I thought was doing some great movies. Tom Cruise did some pretty good movies. So I'm more of a fan of actors and actresses than I am of a certain movie or two. But I do like the Rocky ones. And I think because the first time I ever went to a theater, I believe I was 13 and a half years old. I went to a theater downtown. I don't know if it was called the Lowe's or it was called something else. I don't even remember who I went with. I think it was like the first time that I was ever taking the metro and the subway and stuff like that. I remember going to watch Rocky IV. It's the first time I ever went to a movie theater, I believe. Or maybe I went to a movie theater by myself or whatever. But I had watched all the Rockies up until that point. And Rocky IV, like, it marked me like no other movie has ever like marked me. Like, I found it incredibly inspiring that Rocky goes to Russia and he defeats Ivan Drago. So as corny and as tacky as that sounds, but There's so many good movies on right now. A lot of good movies. I went to watch Creed 3, by the way, last week at the movie theater, and 1 and 2 I thought were better. I thought it was good, but I was hoping for a lot more. But it was good. But I didn't think it was more than that. Next. Ask me anything. What did you love most about Portugal when you were there? The Portuguese chicken, and I like that. But I think the best thing, what I like most about Portugal, because the food was, there's good restaurants everywhere you go, right? So they had some good restaurants there for sure. People, there's nice people and there's less pleasant people anywhere you go. So I'm not going to say that, but yeah, there's obviously some nice people. I didn't spend time in Lisbon this time around, but I really like Lisbon a lot. But last time I was there, I was more in Porto. The soccer, I guess. I think the way they develop soccer players, that's the thing I think I appreciate most about Portugal. I think they do it much better than the rest of the world. And they're up there in that discussion among the best. Them, the Dutch. There are others. Next. What's my dream car? Okay. So I would, how can I say this? First of all, I like SUVs. I don't like cars. Like, I'm not comfortable driving cars. I think that I just feel so much safer in an SUV. I think my last 6 or 7 vehicles have been SUVs. I don't remember when was the last time I had a car. So I like SUVs, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive truck in the world. So I'm not picky that way. I'm not spoiled that way. You know what? As long as it drives well, and there are vehicles that drive well that, are less than $50,000. So, I love several different SUVs. Some of them gas, some of them electric, some of them hybrid, some of them plug-ins. To say I have one favorite, I don't. Not yet. Maybe I will. Here's a great opportunity for a potential sponsor. That would be nice. There's an electric SUV that I drove, has piqued my curiosity. 1 or 2 of them. But to say that I'm sold on electric right now, I thought I was, and now I'm not so sure anymore. Next. Any shows you're currently watching? No. I don't watch TV shows. Actually, there's only one TV show that's not sport. Like, everything I watch is sports. So I watch either sports or I watch movies. And the one TV show that I really like watching a lot is the Shark Tank. I like watching the Shark Tank a lot. Next. How do you feel about pineapple on pizza? I'm a big fan of pineapple. As a matter of fact, I love pineapple. Like, I have a huge Tupperware in my fridge upstairs. There's pineapple in it right now. I had quite a bit of pineapple actually before, doing the podcast tonight. But if I ordered pizza, and I love pizza, by the way, I wouldn't put pineapple on my pizza. I either like my pizza margarita with just plain tomato sauce and mozzarella, or tomato sauce and fior di latte cheese, or even better, tomato sauce and burrata cheese. So I love my pizza plain like that. If I'm ever going to add anything else, I mean, I do like the traditional all dress with the pepperoni, the mushrooms, the green peppers, or I'll like just a margarita, but add to that mushrooms and Kalamata olives. So I was told about a pizza today that's very, very good that my cousin had, which I haven't had yet, which are truffles with burrata. So that's on the agenda for me, and I'm probably going to go indulge on Saturday night. Any others? Favorite music? I like a little bit of everything. I don't have one favorite music. Look, so I'll go through my playlist right now. Go through my playlist right now. Here we go. And I can't play it because we're gonna get booted off probably by YouTube. But I'll tell you what's in my playlist. Poison by Alice Cooper. I Want to Break Free by Queen. Heaven is a Place on Earth by Belinda Carlisle. I don't know where that came out of, but it did. It's Raining Men from the Weather Girls. Ça va bien from Kathleen. We Belong from Pat Benatar. Locked Out of Heaven from Bruno Mars. Born to Be My Baby from from Bon Jovi. All Night Long from Lionel Richie. Just the Way You Are from Bruno Mars. Papa Don't Preach from Madonna. Like a Prayer from Madonna. Gimme Some from Jimmy Bullhorn. When Doves Cry from Prince. Living on a Prayer from Bon Jovi. Angel by Shaggy. Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen. Flashdance by Irene Cara. I know people are just gonna laugh at me so much tomorrow by doing this. You're probably laughing now. What can I tell you? Nobody's perfect. What do I going to tell you? I am who I am. Summer Nights by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Hungry Eyes by Eric Carmen from Dirty Dancing. The Lady in Red from Chris de Burgh. Summer of 69 from Bryan Adams. Where the Streets Have No Name from U2. Tonight I'm Yours from Rod Stewart. Obsession from Aventura. Moni Moni from Billy Idol. I Got a Feeling from the Black Eyed Peas. What else? Legs from ZZ Top. We're Not Gonna Take It from Twisted Sister. Never Surrender from Corey Hart. Can't Stop Loving You from Phil Collins. Don't Let Me Leave from Mark Anthony. Dancing Queen from ABBA. Start Me Up from the Rolling Stones. Go West from the Pet Shop Boys. Always on My Mind from the Pet Shop Boys. Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone from Glass Tiger. Babe from Styx. Burning Heart from Rocky IV. That's Survivor. Despacito from Luis Fonsi. Cold Heart from Elton John and Dua Lipa. Don't Let Me Leave from Thelma Houston. Dancing in the Dark from Bruce Springsteen. Red Red Wine from UB40. Welcome to the Jungle from Guns N' Roses. Jack and Diane from John Cougar. If I Could Turn Back Time from Cher. Sweet Dreams from the Eurythmics. The Winner Takes It All from ABBA. Wind of Change from Scorpions. Shivers from Ed Sheeran. The Motto from Tiesto. Laissez-moi danser from Dalida. Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen. Felicità from Albano and Romina Power. Gli Amori from Toto Cutugno. The Wild Horse from Rod Stewart. Dancing on the Ceiling from Lionel Richie. Hello from Lionel Richie. It's My Life from Bon Jovi. What else is there here? China Girl from David Bowie. Gloria from Laura Branigan. Gloria from Umberto Tozzi. The Italian version. Celebration from Kool and the Gang. Anyway, you get my drift. That's what's on my playlist. You know? It's here. Marination playlist is what it says. See? Marination playlist, yeah. There's just some of them. All right, okay. What else? Let's take one or two more, and that's it. Two more. What is the one place you've never been to but would love to visit? I'd love to visit the Maldives, and I'd love to visit Greece. Probably those two places more so than anywhere else right now. I think so. But I visited Italy, but there's so many places in Italy that I haven't visited that I'd like to do as well. So I have never been to the Amalfi Coast, Positano. I've never been to Venezia. I've never been to Florence. These are places that I'd like to go to, but probably the Maldives and probably Greece. Last one. When will you have any of the current lineup on your podcast? Caulfield, Suzuki. This coming in from Glenn. Glenn, probably at the end of the season. Probably at the end of the season. But you never know. Things can change. But that would probably be at the end of the season. All right. So for Agnello and Sammy, my two best friends in the whole wide world, they're my two best friends. Tony, pick one. Messi, Maldini, Iniesta, or Ronaldo. You can't go wrong with either of them, but I think it's safe to say that Lionel Messi is the best player in the world. Tony, is Mitch Melnick not coming on for personal reasons between the two of you or the station's orders? So I can tell you that Mitch Melnick and I were very, very close. We're very, very close. So, my wife had a surprise 50th for me back in mid-December, and a couple of colleagues that I worked with were invited, and Mitch Melnick was one of them, and he was there. So, it's nothing to do with me not wanting to have him on or him not wanting to come on. So, Mitch and I were, a lot of mutual admiration for each other. He was, for me, a very, very good mentor. When I needed to ask advice, I didn't ask anybody, in the building but Mitch. And so Mitch and I have a lot of respect for Mitch. I love Mitch, and I miss him very, very much. But we do talk, and we went out for supper a couple of times. And like I said, he came to my birthday party, and maybe I'm going to see him on Wednesday night again. I know I'll probably Wednesday night. I'll probably see him on Friday night. And if I don't see him on Friday night, I'm going to invite him to supper at some point here in the next month, because the last time it was on him, and the next time it's going to be on me. All right. So that's that. Happy belated birthday. Well, my birthday was back in, it was 23rd of November. Tony, your origins are from southern Italy. You're basically Greek. As a matter of fact, yes, my origins, both my parents were born in Sicily, province of Messina. Tony, will an Italian team win the Champions League this year? I don't know if they will, but I got to tell you that even though Napoli is not my favorite team, the way they played this year, I absolutely love watching Napoli play. Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, they're a fantastic duo, and Spalletti has that team playing just great soccer. So I love watching Napoli play. I think they're great, and I hope they win the Champions League. All right. On that note, we went 23 minutes overtime tonight. I was just, every now and then, I'm in these moods where I want to go on a little bit longer, and tonight was one of those nights. So thanks everyone for the participation. It was amazing. Comment sick if you enjoyed the podcast. Share with your friends. If you can leave us a 5-star review on Google, Apple, or Spotify. It's our way of feeling the love. It's basically the only way we can tell that in the numbers that you show up with when we do this. So we'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. The Canadians versus the New York Rangers tomorrow night. And, at 10 o'clock, we'll be back right here on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. It's the Sick Podcast. Tell your friends about it. I'm Marinaro. And if they haven't heard about the Sick Podcast as of yet, you know what I would tell them? Hey, Mosito now.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow The Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature.